The world of Hogwarts Legacy has over 100 hours to explore, and to keep track of everything this game has to offer, we are given the Field Guide. This book is the go-to guide for our character to catch up with their Hogwarts peers, and is also the game mechanic that allows us to see our quests, collectibles, the map, and so much more. And so in this video, I'm going to go over everything we know about the Field Guide. The Field Guide is kind of like Hogwarts Legacy's version of the pause menu. It's where you'll be able to access the quest log, the map, upgrades, and a lot of other features that will be crucial to your gaming experience. Now, like most things with Hogwarts Legacy, they've actually integrated this feature into having a real story-based connection. As a late joining 5th year with clearly some untapped magical potential, the Ministry of Magic have given you the Field Guide on loan to help you develop and catch up to your other peers at Hogwarts. Under the guidance of Professor Weasley, our trusty Deputy Headmistress, your character will be able to use this Field Guide book to learn about the secrets hidden within Hogwarts, track different beasts and opponents you find throughout the world, and also follow along with the many quests, side quests and missions that you will have access to throughout the game. From some of the early footage, we'll be able to see exactly what will be shown within the Field Guide. Firstly, it will display our current player level along with a progress bar showing how close we are to the next level. We don't currently know for sure what the maximum level is within Hogwarts Legacy, however by going through some of the talent tree footage we've got, which I'll get to in a moment, I think that the max level is going to be around level 50. However, the next part of our Field Guide is actually where we can access the world map. Now, we've seen lots of footage of people flying around and exploring different aspects of the Hogwarts Legacy world, including Hogwarts itself and some of the surrounding areas, but we haven't actually got a detailed view of the map that we have within game. We obviously know that we have Hogwarts Castle itself, and that beyond that, we'll have access to the areas such as Hogsmeade, the local town. We'll also have access to the Forbidden Forest, the Black Lake, but beyond that, we don't know a lot. The devs have hinted at a very important area south of the castle, which we don't know exactly what that's going to be, but they've kind of hyped it up to be a fairly interesting area we might want to explore. We know that they put a lot of time and energy into creating the open world, so I'm very excited for what they've put in there, what hidden secrets they might have. We know that there's different characters and interesting dungeons that we can find within the world, and I just can't wait to get my hands on it. I don't know about you guys, but I think one of the first places I want to go is the Forbidden Forest. I want to see exactly how dangerous it might be. We're told from the start of the films that we're not allowed to go into the Forbidden Forest. It's a bad place. We know there's some really interesting mythical creatures in there, and I kind of want to have a little nosy around and see what kind of detail and lore they've hidden throughout such that interesting place. As I mentioned though, the open world is rifling with different quests, and that is the next tab within our Field Guide. But what kind of quests can we expect to see from Hogwarts Legacy? Now, we know there is a main linear story for us to follow, and that by progressing through this, we will actually progress our time throughout Hogwarts, meaning the seasons will change as we go from the start of the year in the autumn through to winter, then spring, and then eventually into summer. But what will that actually have an effect on in terms of the other quests within the game? We have seen from some of the early footage that there are a set of quests called side/relationship quests. And from what it seems like, these can vary from quite long and intricate multi-step quests to some very short 5-minute quests that you can do as you explore the castle. From what we've heard, it sounds like a good amount of time of the 100 hours potential playtime we have within this game will be taken up by different side quests, relationship quests, and other things to explore. However, I do believe that some of these might be missable quests. So, as you're progressing through the main story, be careful, because if you go too far and a major event happens, you may lose access to some of these other quests, whether it be different classes, whether it be different characters who might have slightly different fates as the story progresses. Be careful if you're going for a 100% completion run to get those side quests out of the way before progressing to the next major story event. Some of the other quests I think might be within the game, other than just the main story quests and some of the side relationship quests, I do think that we're going to have some quests which have to do with the beasts. So we know that discovering beasts and going to beast dens, saving them from poachers, is quite an important part of the game, and I think this might have its own set of quests that you might be able to complete on the side. I also do think that there may be a set of quests that have to do with exploring your ancient magic side further. Beyond just what you get within the main story quest in this line, I think there might be additional quests you can go and do, which will help expand not only your knowledge, but also your power of how you are in tune with ancient magic. And the last idea I had is that I think there will be additional class quests. Now, you will probably do some classes as part of the main story and meet your professors. However, we know that they want to progress you further and quicker than some of the other students, so I think they will make this available through additional curricular side quests, which you may be able to do as their own separate tasks. Just from a user interface point of view, I do hope they haven't just lumped main quests and side quests in one. I do hope these are somehow separated into those different areas. If you have any ideas for any other types of side quests or additional quests they might add, let me know down in the comments below and we can have a bit of a discussion about it. The owl post is our next area of the field guide though. Now back in the late 1800s, I don't think that they had access to MSN Wizard Messenger, so I believe that owls were their main form of communication. And what the field guide gives you access to is probably a quicker way of receiving those incoming messages via owl than going to the owlery every couple of days or every couple of minutes, depending on how much you want to see those messages. So I think the owl post will give you a bit of an indication that, hey, this is a message that someone from within the game sent you, and here's what they want you to do. The field guide will also allow you to access your settings, whether that be graphic settings, audio settings, keybinds and controls. Your general set of settings should be available within this area of the field guide. Now, right at the bottom of the field guide is going to be one of the main areas I think we'll be accessing the most, and this is the challenge section. Now, we have actually seen footage of what that challenge section looks like, so we know what types of challenges we're expected to get. These include challenges relating to the combat, quests, exploration, the field guide pages, and the room of requirement. The combat challenges are likely to do with defeating a certain amount of enemies, completing different dueling feats that we get along with certain missions or locations, as well as other just combat related quests and challenges that you might get within any other game. The quest challenges likely have a direct link to the different quests that are within the quest tab itself, and I think this will be a good marker for your 100% completion, so you know how far you are through the game. So if you completed 50% of the main story quests within this, you know you're about halfway through the main story, and will also help you keep track of different side quests and other mission objectives that you might have throughout the game. The exploration quests will likely have something to do with the different locations that you discover across the wizarding world. Whether it be about just going to different areas of the map, or whether it be about specifically completing different challenges within certain locations, these challenges should represent that area of the game. The field guide challenges though are your main snippet into the lore behind the wizarding world, and I think will also act as your main collectible throughout the game. There are over 100 pages of lore that have been scattered throughout the castle and the surrounding areas for you to go and find. Whether you have to tactically use your Revelio spell to find these hidden within certain parts of the castle, or whether you have to complete certain puzzles for them to appear, you will be finding field guide pages throughout your entire journey at Hogwarts. And given the completionist I am at heart, I'm sure I'll be making a couple videos about exactly how you can find some of these harder to get field guide pages. And then the last set of challenges within this section have to do with the room of requirement. Now we know that this is a really key area within the game, and it has a lot of upgrades that you're going to need to get as you move through. So I imagine there'll be different challenges to help you show your progression throughout this room. Whether it be how many beasts you've been able to rescue and put within your vivarium, whether it be how many upgrades you're getting, how many potions and plants you're making, or whether it just be a general progression so you can see how far of the room of requirement you've progressed, this will be where you go to see that information. If you do want to know more about the room of requirement, check out this video where I put a nice little explanation of everything we know about it so far. Now, as I mentioned, the field guide pages are one of your main collectibles. However, there is a whole collectibles tab also within the field guide. And whilst we haven't seen any in-game footage of it, we have seen that when a new enemy was discovered, it created a tab within that collectibles section of the field guide. Therefore, I think that this will be a kind of glossary for you to look over different beasts, different spells, different enemies, and get some fact files about each of them. This may help you prepare for how best to encounter a beast, how best to tackle an enemy that might be on a more difficult scale, or just generally learn a bit more about your professors and classmates as you learn more about them throughout the game. Speaking of upgrades though, the field guide gives us access to our talent section, which is the way we upgrade our character within Hogwarts Legacy. From what we can see, you likely gain talent points as you level up, and then can use them for different upgrades in one of these 5 categories. There are upgrades for our Room of Requirement, there are upgrades for the stealth mechanics, which may also be where you go and unlock the Disillusionment charm. We also have access to our core skills as well. Now I imagine our core skills will have something to do with upgrading our actual character, whether it be their health, how many spell diamonds that you have access to, whether it be how you make potions or how you create plants, or general mechanics like that rather than specific spell-based upgrades. There are two other areas within this talent tree though that we haven't actually seen yet and we don't know what they are. Now, I imagine that one of them is going to have something to do with the spells, and I think that's going to be the leftmost one. And I think the other one may have something to do with the ancient magic that we're so in tune with. However, we haven't got confirmation on these yet, so if you have any speculations or theories, let me know down in the comments below and we can all have a bit of a discussion about what these two hidden ones might actually be. Now, when I put my teacher maths brain on, I can see that these upgrade areas have specific amounts of upgrades within them. And by adding them all up, you can see that there's 50 points available in total. Therefore, that shows to me that you're probably able to upgrade to level 50 within the game. Also within our field guide, we have access to everything that we have stored within our inventory. So whether this be main quest items, whether it be crafting materials or upgrade materials, this should all be stored within our inventory, which we have nice easy access to via the field guide. And then the last area of our field guide is the gear tab. Now we haven't actually seen within the gear tab yet, but this is likely the area where you can equip new gear that you find and have discovered via your loom. I don't think it has anything to do with actually upgrading your gear though, as this is mostly done in that loom in the Room of Requirement instead. However, one piece of confirmation we do know about this tab is that this is where you can change the look of your gear as well. So say you find some really OP gear that you just love the stats of and you think it really works for your character, but hate the look and just want to wear your general house robes throughout your entire playthrough, you can actually go into this tab and change the look of any of your gear to match any others that you've unlocked, while still keeping its original stats. I think this is a really nice feature that they added, and I'm glad they did it, because when you are playing an RPG game like this, that roleplay element and feeling like you're wearing the clothes you want to without being at a disadvantage game mechanically wise is really important. So guys, that is practically everything we know about the field guide so far, which is probably one of the most important elements of Hogwarts Legacy. Remember to let me know down in the comments what you think those other two talent trees might be, and if you're looking for a bit of a guide on what spells we're expecting to see within Hogwarts Legacy, or you want a bit of an in-depth view of the Room of Requirement, click one of the two videos on screen now.